previously on We Accept Each Other.
That would be a problem
Why?
when the non-Christian guy felt jealous of the pastor. Should never covet another couple that is pure Christians.
But when the flip side, right? We want people to come to our church.
Angels will come to your house.
Angel will come to your house, your blessing will come to your house.
Both me and my wife are Christian.
Use your imagination. It's a curveball, like, don't give me a
Yeah,
right
yeah.
answer, just a curveball.
For me, I
For
won't
you.
say the answer for
He's
it.
not giving you a right answer. He's telling you what he will
Yeah,
do.
we would love to hear from
Please
Ed
don't
also.
fire him. Of course, we know that the financing and all that, but then that is
Most likely the couple may
There's no vivid reason and cause here because you really do not know how things will turn out. There's too many factors to consider.
True.
But chances are, from time to time, they will have to revisit this reconciliation topic, like children upbringing.
okay.
What kind of school you're sending them to, you know? And what kind of teaching,
okay.
what kind of storybooks you're buying for them.
Okay. Makes sense.
Baby Shark.
Makes sense.
And then
And what kind of songs that you can listen to?
movies,
Movies,
yeah,
okay.
not songs, movies,
Okay.
channels.
Okay.
You guys will end up arguing about this, and then definitely the one that is more aggressive will always
Overpower.
Win the
pull
argument.
their
Okay.
religion in and say, oh, they have a lot of activities for children, send them there, it's good for them, and stuff like that, you know.
Okay.
And worse still is children being children naive. They go there, they learn it, and they go back to their family of the other belief, and then they say, hey, why you guys don't go there? You guys are not good kids. GG. And then they need to also communicate this thing down to the next generation. Like, okay, this is the father's belief, this is the mother's belief. Whether they would both allow the children to choose whichever belief among the two or among all religions, or whether the kid has to follow either one,
Okay.
they have to communicate and set forth this thing beforehand.
But Victor, do you have a real case or real testimony that you heard from your friends that how they've been through this long period that someone really get through this, even they move on, and how the Lord is really working on this part?
For parenting though, because I'm still young.
Okay.
Couple,
For couple, I've heard stories where the guy wanted to chase the Christian girl and the lady persevered, communicated.
the guy is not Christian.
Not Christian,
Okay.
okay.
but the girl communicated clearly.
Okay.
She would hope for a Christian boyfriend.
Okay.
Whoa.
And because of that, the guy came to explore the church. And the church has given a very good environment where the guy is freely able to express his point of view, thoughts, questions, and curiosity.
Wow.
And from then slowly
What church?
came to know the Lord.
Okay.
What
Okay,
church?
continue.
Let's not do that.
Continue.
Alright. I've also seen couples that are already dating, then halfway through, because they want to get married, then the guy is open to explore
Okay.
the religion. When he got married, that time he's already baptized.
Oh.
But whether really believe or not, only the guy know. I never asked
okay.
properly. But many years down the road, I could see transformation in the guy's life as well.
Oh.
Just because he is always present in the church
Okay.
with the female, and listening to sermons and being exposed to the teachings and the culture, you know. Also God.
Okay.
And I also know of another example where they've been together, married for 40 years. The wife never pressured the husband at all. And the husband never restrict the wife from going to church and be involved in church and stuff like that. And what the wife did is just pray. And 40 years later, out of nowhere, the guy came to know Christ.
Wow, it's 40 years. It's not easy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Life
man.
for how
It's
many?
not
10
easy.
years?
It's not easy. I'm not yet 40 also. Are you 40s now?
No.
Soon.
So
No. Let's not go there. Okay, let's come back.
So I want to throw another curveball here if you
Okay.
allow me. One more last curveball.
how tough is that?
Very curve. Do you think Christian and non-Christian couples have more friction in the relationship, or
What is fiction?
friction
Oh, friction.
in their relationship journey, or both Christian relationship have more frictions? Which one is, I would say, okay, my question is essentially saying that which one, usually when we talk about this, we think that, oh, because of all this problem, right? So both Christians maybe have less friction in life because of the values and whatever it is. I want to ask, is that always or most likely true if both Christians have less friction compared to Christian and non-Christian.
No, I don't think so. He's raising his hands. Okay, sorry.
I raised my hand so high and so tall. Okay, I think it's the same.
You think it's the same?
Yeah, because
Why?
just like, for example, if they both of them are non-Christian, do you still have friction in this relationship
Other
with
things,
human?
okay.
But if you one Christian and non-Christian, there are friction about one topic maybe a bit becoming quite focused and serious about going to church or not on Sunday, something like
But
that.
is it a deal breaker though?
It's maybe not a really deep. It depends on the couple how they decide it and how they weightage the elements of their life, in particular what they believe. So yeah, so I would say it's the same. The amount of friction depends on how the couple stay together and the characters and personalities. But if they are one Christian and non-Christian, perhaps more friction might happen, or more unspoken friction within the heart one if the things cannot be resolved about the belief and what can they go to church or not, or sending the children to this service and so on and so on.
Okay.
That's what I think. You continue.
Having that is another avenue where friction can happen. But if you look at two persons together, there are so many avenues that sometimes, even to a point, two Christians might have more friction than a Christian and non-Christian.
Why?
Depends on other avenues like maybe background, upbringing, your direction in life, how you view social circles.
Okay.
All this could be other ways friction could happen. How you communicate, how you express your emotions and feelings or your anger, those kind of avenues. And I've seen couples that are Christian and non-Christian having no issue at all in all the other avenues. The only avenue that have issue is religion, in the belief.
That is actually.
But then, because I think it's also because both of them are exposed to values that are good. So in a sense, their belief system is actually quite compatible.
Okay.
Like both knows they are doing good, but one is from the Bible's teaching, one is from the other teaching.
Okay.
So the values are actually quite common as well.
Okay.
The only thing is when they want to get married, whether it's in the church or outside and stuff like that, and the in-laws' expectation, the parents' expectation for the couple, that is when all this friction comes in.
So what I'm listening now is that actually trying to pick up the points here. I think because I find it quite interesting that you say about you talk about values, because I kind of agree that then is it all boils down to your life principle and values. If it's compatible, whether is it Christian or not, there won't be such a long-term problem, I would say. That's why we say that all this friction is just during the marriage or whatever it is, right? So, but the long-term perspective of the relationship, as long the values are compatible, it is not as a big problem. Can I say that?
Big problem whether the friction will increase or not.
Increase or not, yes. Because this is, I think, everyone's question, right? Because I think people will ask this deeply, why I want my partner to be a Christian or to share the same faith. It's because I'm scared that there will be I don't know.
In the simple term, it means that if I get a Christian partner, will I get less problems, right? Or less friction?
That is one of the questions they ask. Of
Yeah.
course, another one maybe when we Christian talk about is the question of, in the end, faith and salvation, right? But then, I don't know, that seems like a very... I won't really think about that if I'm not Christian. That's why when we talk about this, non-Christian, right? Of course, the Christian will think that I will think about my faith and salvation. How do you view this theology of faith and salvation, right? But also from the perspective of non-Christian, I will think that, okay, sure. But that is not what I'm looking at right now. Therefore, there's always a mismatch of conversation, right? I'm not talking about salvation. I'm talking about my life values and all, right? I'm just asking, is that something that we can,
Yeah, if the
work on?
values are very much
Similar,
compatible,
yeah.
lesser friction. Like if you talk about the finance, for example,
Yeah.
if the non-Christian is one that has a belief or a value of
charity,
yes,
and yeah,
then they will look
giving
at
out.
that tithing as a charitable act, and
sure,
there will be no
sure,
argument.
sure.
So that is a very, very good point.
Now comes the golden question.
Are your values compatible?
That is one.
Your curve been out.
Then that would be one thing you all need to think about, right? I think that is super important. Whether are you thinking about faith or not, relationship is always about this. But more particularly because I will say Christian has very distinctive values and principles that is very visible in our way of life. Right? Therefore, it's much more easier to see. And this is one of the things I want to make clear here also. Doesn't mean that if you're not Christian, we'll have no this problem. It's the same thing. But because of Christian, we have a very distinct way of life. It's easier to
talk about it.
come into this kind of questions because it's so obvious. Right? Because immediately you ask, why would you spend more time in church? Immediately. Right? Why would you buy a van because you need to fetch people? This is very obvious questions. I'm just saying. I'm trying to also knock off some of the misunderstanding about why Christians are so difficult. We're not difficult, I think. I hope.
Really?
You let the viewers decide.
But I think to the I want to kind of anchor back to the question where I asked initially is that what kind of thing they need to talk about, right? If the scenario is that in the middle now, I found out that I really want my partner to be a Christian, but then we had never conveyed on any of this message. Maybe one of the point is that are we sharing the same values, or is it compatible even, right?
The talk about values is in the couple, even Christian or non-Christian. I think it's always not spend enough time to talk about it, or to ponder about it,
Have we
or
even
to
spoke about it?
go deep, a bit deeper.
Deeper.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, compatible or not will actually translate to easier to love or not. So end of the day, if you are very compatible,
Am I easy to love or not?
it will be easier for the party involved to love the other person because compatible same thing
True,
argument.
True.
He echo
So
me.
end of the day, I won't say just because your values are not compatible, then you will have to be a deal breaker or stuff like that.
Okay.
Then the next question is whether you love one another enough to embrace this incompatibility, and that's all the communication come in. Because when you communicate your feelings and expectation, right, when both have their stand, again, what makes that communication a fruitful one is not who wins the argument. Is end of the day, both of you realize that love is stronger, and you guys are okay to take a point in the middle and stuff like that.
Exactly. And Christians should know this already. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
To cut in the conversation, right? What if we all of us just share like if right now you have a non-Christian partner, all of you Christian, right?
Last I checked, I wasn't.
If
I can't say for the future.
Just example.
I'm just kidding.
Example. And right now your partner is a non-Christian. What would you do? What would you will continue or stop?
Or would I
continue to the
what is it called?
Carry on.
Carry on.
Maybe you can define whether you are in a married or not in, but married at least definitely we cannot.
Okay.
But if not married yet,
Means carry on with the long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a very tough question, to be honest.
Let's think.
I come from a non-Christian background, and maybe it's a bit biased lah. I would say that. Okay, so I need to give my answer first. My answer is yes. I will carry on.
Victor,
Carry on.
that's all.
You answer.
I'm trying to elaborate, but you ask Victor then.
Sorry.
You're angry leh.
Sorry. Okay, you go continue first.
Okay, can I expound my point?
Carry on.
A lot of people want to know maybe.
Carry on.
I know. No, I'm just saying it's a bit. Maybe my point of view is a bit biased because I come from a non-Christian background, and I say I will carry on because I myself gone through the transformation. Right, and the reason why I would say carry on is because just now I said that already. The Christian now, okay, we have been talking about Christian values and principles in a very abstract way. I want to say something. The reason why I transform, or one of the reasons why I stand firm in this faith, is because the Christian faith is grounded in love, in this unconditional sacrificial love, right? And that means a lot to a couple, because you will need to understand that the faith does not require you to prejudice or exclude anyone. It's much more on, can you embrace, like what Victor said, embrace this person even though the person might not be at their best. It's easy to love a person that is lovable. The Christian value is exactly that. Can you love a person even though the person is not lovable, even for that brief moment, or even for that period of time? Are you able to do that? And to me, if you ask me, Christians should be able, or at least need to have this understanding that to carry on because you really love this person. Yes, of course, in the end of the day, you will hope and you pray that this person will eventually convert, because you want that person to also see this part of life whereby you're able to ground yourself in this sacrificial and unconditional love that we have received from Christ. That is the point of conversion, not for the sake of ticking off a KPI that when you go to heaven, I have converted my wife. Right? And that is why I would carry on. But it's very tough. That's why I asked the question, do you think it's more friction or not? I'm asking for myself sometimes. You get what I mean? You don't ask this question yourself? You never ponder that if I find a non-Christian girlfriend or
Sure,
partner, would it be easier?
Sure, ponder. Continue first.
Done. That's my answer.
Yeah. How about you, Victor?
What do you think? If you have an imaginary spouse.
Don't laugh, don't laugh. Okay.
Me too. And now your turn?
Me too!
No, I mean, yeah. But end of the day, to be honest, just something to add on to what Alex mentioned.
Why on that if you imagine?
It's you there.
Okay. For me, carry on. Because in the first place, if I do not love the person as much, I would not have even considered to be with that person. I'm that kind of person. You know? I'm not the type that throw net to the sea, how many fish come back, then choose one.
Maybe your face also cannot lah. I'm just saying.
What do you mean face?
Just saying, pimple. All three of us here.
Got knife,
No. Just saying, all three of us here are not Brad Pitts, Just saying.
What pick,
It's okay, you don't need to know. Sorry, continue. No throw net. Because no net.
So for me, if we are already in it, then we should try our very best to go through everything obstacle that is presented and stuff like that.
Okay.
But again, it's easy for us now who are not in that struggle to say something like that.
Yeah.
And for the person who is in it, definitely it will be very difficult.
Yep.
And there will be chances that no matter how you communicate, you can never see even a single glimpse of hope from that communication, because you guys are stuck at the topic for many, many times.
Okay.
And that topic keeps haunting you back, and you are always tempted to give up that relationship.
Yes.
I think
I
this
totally
is
agree.
very common. It is not just... You shouldn't think that you're weak, therefore you have this kind of experiences.
Okay.
This is very common experience. But the underlying thing is this. For us who are not in that relationship right now, and we love that person as a brother or sister in Christ, or as a father or elders, we shouldn't make life even more difficult for them that is going through it by forcing a no to that relationship or helping them terminate that decision. We should actually find ways to create a conducive environment.
You will create a conducive environment for your partner.
No, for both of
you.
For me myself, if I'm already struggling, then definitely I will find a conducive way. I will communicate to my friends in the church what is a conducive way for my partner, and expect that support from the church itself.
Is different,
And expect that support from the church itself. They don't need to evangelize my partner.
Okay.
They just need to be there for being there.
Wow.
Jesus never came and just, this is the truth, Jesus lived with the disciples. Jesus lived with the people.
I thought Jesus is the truth. Sorry.
And even at one time, the people were so many and the disciples say we cannot feed them, there's no place for them, send them to the cities. Jesus insisted that they stay together, and he fed them with the number of loaves and fish that is limited. The reason is because Jesus wanted to still be with the crowd. And I think this support system of being there,
Okay.
you don't need to shove the gospel down the throat and stuff like just being there, that conducive environment is more than enough.
Wow.
And I think that is what the church elders or church leaders or whatever community circle is, the rest could support it for this couple.
Yeah.
And if truly, really, end of the day, this couple that is going through it cannot
Survive.
through, then again, there's no right and wrong in the relationship.
Then you will.
Huh?
Then you will.
Then for me, if I really cannot, means really end off.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Ask for opinion, got a solution. What do you think?
Wow, this is a great night.
Wait, what?
So would you wait? Would you what? Would you carry on?
In the past, I will not.
Huh?
In the past, but now, if I have a partner,
Wait, you have two answers. One.
No, but now share value drop, so I have to.
not sure will drop. I think
Face drop. Face value
if
drop.
I have actually I thought this before very seriously. If in the future I have don't talk about that. If using this example, right? If I had a partner, many years, she is a non-Christian, we are still carrying on. I will still carry on. I will not say that because I'm a man, I easy to convince her to what I believe. But I think like what both of them sharing one value is a very critical, which is if we are really serious about this relationship, we are really loving one another, and if we are willing to open up, if my partner is willing to open up to understand what I'm doing, what I'm believing, and I definitely will open up myself to believe on her part. However, if both parties cannot have this agreement, right, I might not easy for me to carry on itself.
But you still carry on?
I'll still carry on, but we need to have this communication. If this thing we cannot open up, right, don't have this space to move on to the next step, right, I think it's no more to carry on anymore for me myself.
And also, when we discuss about this, right, we always think about it's just the
Talk easy, right?
Yes, sure. I'm just saying, I want to also maybe summarize a bit about. We always think about it's just two of us. Like, of course, the relationship is between two of us, but I think what Victor has said is a community that's around us. And as Christians, we also believe that, of course, God is always overseeing all these things, right? And maybe an encouragement to the people out there that you think that this is very tough, you are valid.
Yeah.
But I think it's always the answer, the question about is it worth it to carry on, right? If the person is worth it, then you just have to trust and have faith in your faith and in God, in a sense whereby if this doesn't work out, then you have tried your best, right?
Sometimes because for the sake of just carry on, right, we pushing ourselves in a very
of course.
unfavorable, which is causing a lot of mental issue and so on. And it's not healthy as well. But what we are trying to say is that if you are having this situation, to look up for friends surrounding you, or
That's your opinion. Became a counseling session.
sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Victor, do you have
Anything else you want to add on or?
Nothing much. The counseling session has been done.
Okay.
But I think underlying is the reason for the podcast are we accept each other, regardless of whether the relationship can carry on or not, whether you've tried your best, or whether in the past you have those misconceptions before.
Yeah.
End of the day, the podcast here is just to talk about things in the church.
we are not perfect.
And
And
underlying it, the culture of accepting each other regardless of who you are, what you've done, and what you are able to do.
Yeah, I think being open, being honest, being transparent.
You can
especially
angry,
in
you can red face.
Yeah, but don't hit anyone. Just saying. Just putting it out there. But I think being honest and open and transparent is really important. Whether are you Christian or non-Christian, especially if you're a Christian or non-Christian, it's easier to let all these things slip because it's so used to it already. I think that is the real understanding of we accept each other, right? So should we?
Yeah. We accept each other?
We accept why you take the thing?
Oh no, I'm not.
I don't know.
Oh, you want to cheers? You have no drink already, what?
So,
Still
so,
a bit.
Got a bit, I also got a bit.
I also got a bit.
So this means that even you have a lip, you have left a bit of patience also can accept each other.
Carry on, carry on.
carry on.
It's very thin now. We accept each other.
We accept each
We'll
other.
see you next week. Bye.
So remember to subscribe to Ignite FCC, share this video to your friends if you find this very helpful, and like it, and make sure you making the channel notifiable to your channel, your YouTube channel. So do support us by giving a lot of likes and comment, and we would love to see you more. Do give feedback to us if you have any comments, but we would love to have you to continue to watch our episode. So see ya.
Whatever he said. See you next time.
Whatever he said, bye.